Uh, Good morning, everybody. Welcome into this space. We're just getting started now. Just take some time to get comfortable. Be here for about half an hour. Just beginning to breathe into your body. Finding a comfortable place in the chair or on the floor. Closing down the eyes. Just finding your natural rhythm of breath. As you tune into this natural rhythm of breath, just notice it. Where do you feel the air contact different parts of your body? If you breathe through your mouth, is there a taste in the air? As you notice these things, just begin to breathe a little bit deeper. Breathing down into the inguinal space or the space in your hips. Feel any areas of tightness or resistance, and conversely, where it flows freely. Where does the air like to go? Where does this prana like to go? Continuing to breathe down deep into that space, aiming for the tailbone or the perineum. Shaking out any discomfort along the neck and the shoulders. And just feel the points of contact where your body meets the world. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel where your back and your butt meet the chair or the floor. Feel where the air meets your body. Feel the light. If you become wrapped up in a thought, simply turn your attention towards it, not into it, but on it. See what happens to it. See what happens when the awareness becomes not the thought, but the awareness. And recognize that this is the practice of meditation. When do you forget that you are awareness? And instead get caught up in a very convincing storyline. Just resting here in this moment for now. All that has ever been, is, and will be here in this moment. And again, the point of that teaching is not to accept it as faith or say, oh, yes, that's so positive and freeing and esoteric. I should look into it. You should look into it. Because direct experience will confirm this. You've never been anywhere else but here. When you were lost in thought moments ago, where was that happening? When you think about a cherished memory or memory of any kind, where do you recall that memory? Do you go back in time? Or is it reconstructed here in the moment? And when you think about the future and the things that you have to do today, later on this week, next month, where are you doing all of that from? So for now, simply abide in this moment, radically accepting whatever is arising while bringing your awareness back to an object of meditation, whether it be your breath, whether it be the sensation of sitting, whether it be my voice. And let's abide in the present moment together for just a few minutes. It is here in this moment that we sense. It is here in this moment that we think. It is here in this moment that we dream. And it is here in this moment that we will die. If you find that you're lost in thought, simply come back to the breath, to this space that we're sharing. Last week, we were introduced to the clear light mind, to the nature of our awareness, that it is without inherent existence, that it is empty, radiant, and perfectly clear. And despite this, it is not nothingness because it emanates into everything. Every cell of your body, every sense that you perceive, all of the things out there to which you are perceiving is awareness recognizing itself. And yet these forms are all impermanent, taking these shapes for now, but ultimately dissipating. Changing actually in every moment. So maintaining your awareness and your breath will give the teaching the consequences of the introduction to awareness. Simply let them sit with you, see how they strike you. What emotions and sensations arise. when recognizing the nature of mind. When the introduction is powerfully applied in accordance with the above method for entering into this reality, one's own immediate consciousness is this very reality. Abiding here, which is uncontrived and naturally radiant, how can one say that one does not understand the nature of mind? Abiding in this reality, wherein there is nothing on which to meditate, how can one say that by having entered into meditation one was not successful? Abiding in this reality, which is one's actual awareness itself, how can one say that one could not find one's own mind? Abiding in this reality, the uninterrupted union of radiance and awareness, how can one say that the true face of mind has not been seen? Abiding in this reality, which is itself the cognizer, how can one say that, though sought, this cognizer could not be found? Abiding in this reality where there is nothing at all to be done, how can one say that whatever one did not succeed? Given that it is sufficient to leave this awareness as it is, uncontrived, how can one say that one could not continue to abide in that state? Given that it is sufficient to leave it as it is, without doing anything whatsoever, how can one say that one could not do just that? Given that radiance, awareness, and emptiness are inseparable and spontaneously present, how can one say that by having practiced one attained nothing? Given that this reality is naturally originating and spontaneously present without causes or conditions, how can one say that by having made the effort to find it, one was incapable of success? Given that the arising and liberation of conceptual thoughts occur simultaneously, how can one say that by having applied this antidote, one was not effective? Abiding in this immediate consciousness itself, how can one say that one does not know this reality? Be certain that the nature of mind is empty and without foundation. One's own mind is insubstantial, like an empty sky. Look at your own mind to see whether it is like that or not. Divorced from views which constructively determine the nature of emptiness, be certain that pristine cognition, naturally originating, is primordially radiant, just like the nucleus of the sun, which is itself naturally originating. Look at your own mind to see whether it is like this or not. Be certain that this awareness, which is pristine cognition, is uninterrupted, like the coursing central torrent of a river which flows unceasingly. Look at your own mind to see whether it is like this or not. Be certain that conceptual thoughts and fleeting memories are not strictly identifiable, but insubstantial in their motion, like the breezes of the atmosphere. Look at your own mind to see whether it is like this or not. Be certain that all that appears is naturally manifest in the mind, like the images in a mirror which also appear naturally. Look at your own mind to see whether it is like this or not. Be certain that all characteristics are liberated right where they are, like the clouds of the atmosphere, naturally originating and naturally dissolving. Look at your own mind to see whether it is like this or not. There are no phenomena extraneous to those that originate from the mind. So, how could there be anything on which to meditate apart from the mind? There are no phenomena extraneous to those that originate from the mind. So, there are no modes of conduct to be undertaken extraneous to those that originate from the mind. There are no phenomena extraneous to those that originate from the mind. So, there are no commitments to be kept extraneous to those that originate from the mind. There are no phenomena extraneous to those that originate from the mind. So there are no results to be attained. There are no phenomena extraneous to those that originate from the mind. So one should observe one's own mind, looking into its nature again and again. If, upon looking outwards towards the external expanse of the sky, there are no projections emanated by the mind, and if, on looking inwards at one's own mind, there is no projectionist who projects thoughts by thinking them, then one's own mind, completely free from conceptual projections, will become luminously clear. This intrinsic awareness, union of inner radiance and emptiness, is the Buddha body of reality, appearing like the illumining effect of a sunrise on a clear and cloudless sky. It is clearly knowable, despite its lack of specific shape or form. There is a great distinction between those who understand and those who misunderstand this point. This naturally originating inner radiance, uncreated from the very beginning, is the parentless child of awareness. How amazing. It is the naturally originating pristine cognition, uncreated by anyone. How amazing. This radiant awareness has never been born and will never die. How amazing. Though manifestly radiant, it lacks an extraneous perceiver. How amazing. Though it has roamed throughout cyclic existence, it does not degenerate. How amazing. Though it has seen Buddhahood itself, it does not improve. How amazing. And though it is present in everyone, it remains unrecognized. How amazing. And still one hopes for some attainment other than this. How amazing. Though it is present within oneself, one continues to seek it elsewhere. How amazing. Deep breath into the belly. And so this is the teaching of abiding in the present moment. And this is the goal of meditation. Abiding naturally in the present moment, in the pristine cognition. It is within all of us, and yet we seek it elsewhere. And so that's really the trick. So all those things that we perceive to be wrong or ugly or that could be better about ourselves, that too is here in the present moment. And they too, like the thoughts that we draw our attention to but do not put into it, forgetting that we are clear mind. They too will disappear and unravel as attention is turned on them. This is the natural rising and liberation of all things. And as we rise up from our practice today to go out into the world, let us remember this clear light of awareness that permeates through us and each creature, each person, each manifestation that we meet. And remember that no matter how many times we forget, it is still right there, loving and abiding in the present moment. How amazing. Thank you for joining this morning, y'all. Take care.